Welcome to a Friday Reads, where I talk about what I read, what I'm reading, what I hope to get to next. And I finished one thing, I'm in the middle of a few other things, and I've consumed some interesting art. So let's just get into it. Starting with the book I finished, City of Others by Jared Poon. I believe this is a debut. It is from Singapore, or like it takes place in Singapore, and the author lives in Singapore, and it's a January release. So yay, Herked. But also very fun. Very, very fun. It's an urban fantasy, bureaucratic side. Like, we have a team of 4 people that are meant to handle, like, the supernatural, mundane intersection and the drama that happens there. And I want, like, 7 million of these. It was very fun. In particular, our main character, I think his name's Ben. Yeah. Ben has issues, and I think the issues that he has are very relatable, and I don't think you really get to, like, tackle in this direct of a way. He has big hero syndrome. Like, he's very bad at letting other people help, and he needs to let other people help, and it's very cool how that's represented and how you get to see his life. Also, just the world is fun, and I really like the dynamics of the team. I like banter between the love interest and Ben. I had a fun time. So this was delightful for me. This cat is delightful for me. I wish I had so many more of these to read right now. So you guys should read it so I could have more. Please. Next up, a book I am almost done with, I'm sure, by the next Friday Reads. I will be done with it, but that is The Dispossessed by Ursula K. Le Guin. It's fine. It's so long and dry. It's so fine. I think the things I like about it don't outweigh the things that bore me. And that's unfortunate. So we're getting closer to a 3.5 star than a 4, alas. Especially because there was a chapter. Like, I know it was written in the 20th century. I know that people just wrote like this. But it doesn't change the fact that there was just, like, a gratuitous scene that existed for no reason. And I'm not even a squeamish reader. I was just like, why is this here? Why is this here? What did this thematically gain us that we weren't already having, except to give me the ick? Like, what? It didn't even feel in character. It felt in character for a sci-fi dude written in the 20th century. Like, but if the whole point is that he's not like a Western sci-fi dude that I've read about over and over again. So, I don't know. It felt cliche in the worst ways. So that, like, stopped me from reading it for, like, a really long time. Like, I read a lot of this while I was shoveling snow, because we got so much snow. And we're about to get more snow, as is winter. And then I just, like, stopped for a while. And I just was like, well, I could listen to an audiobook, or I could watch this TV show, or I could watch this YouTube video. And I just, like, did everything but listen to an audiobook. But today, in my commute, I got back into it. And, you know, it's kind of fine. Like, I also, like, don't like how the sci-fi, like, thing that he's supposed to think about is explained, but I think this is more about social sci-fi, so, like, I'm fine with that. I actually do think the further I get in, the more I'm liking the different ways we are challenging both society types, but I still don't, like, find it an enjoyable experience, and I do think if it was written today, I think it would be written a little bit differently in terms of its social experiment, especially with how we've been talking more about universal income and the right to certain amenities. Like, I just think we're in a different headspace now in 2025 than we were when this was written. Like, the capitalism stuff, yes, of course. We've been having issues with that for a while. And I think this was probably really novel at the time to be like, well, what does socialism look like without the authoritarian component? Like, I think that's interesting, historically speaking. But again, there's just a lot of dry writing. I don't like our main character. I don't know. It's just a little overwritten for me and my sensibilities. And like, because that's been so dense and hard to get to, I'm kicking myself because it prevented me from picking up my current read, which I am really liking. And that is Where the Axe is Buried by Ray Naylor. So this is a book that came out last year, and I bought it because this is so pretty. And also, not only is this very colorful on the front, I am fascinated that's the exact opposite on the inside. And honestly, I think there's a lot of intentionality to that. And I'm really respecting the intentionality in this work. Because I think I already kind of know what this thing represents. And I love that I kind of know why it's called Where the Axe is Buried. Like, I feel like I'm already understanding stuff. So I'm getting that intellectual payoff really quick. I don't really know what it's about yet, but the world is interesting. I think it's near future or alternative now. One or the other. They don't call things phones, they call them terminals. We have a federation, which is definitely a more authoritarian state where people are surveilled and they can't go outside of their spheres, and it's based off their social points. Interesting. And then we have, I think, the Union, and then we have one other place that I'm forgetting. I think the Union is where London is. So the Federation, I think, is more like back when we used to talk about the East and West during the Cold War. The Federation is definitely more the East sort of thing, if we're talking about, like, the Wall. Especially because of the names used and the about by the author and his time in areas near and in Russia, I believe. And then the Union is London, so more of the West. And then we have one other place, I think, but it's mostly been the Federation and the Union. But we had one other place I was just visiting that I think might be near Turkey, and that's the Republic. And so we have these different locations, and political change is happening, and I think right now I'm in the bumbling about phase. I love a bumble about, and the writing is pretty easy. I'm really liking some of the sentences and some of the lines. Like, for a political science fiction, there's a lot of stuff that I'm really liking. Like comparing how human systems are trapped in extinct patterns, and like that's why it's hard to get out of, and comparing that to like fungal systems and how they, you know, go into old extinct root systems. And there's this book that's written by this character, Zoya, called The Forever Argument, and I'm really liking a lot of quotes from that. And so I'm optimistic about this. I'm not very far. I am 45 pages in. I read all of those last night, though, and again, kicking myself because I thought this would be like dense, like the Dispossessed is a political, dense, philosophical thing, but this seems to be more my speed in terms of bumbleabouts. It has some traditional plot elements that work a little bit better for me. It's multi-POV, so I'm not getting stuck with anyone so far. And it has some really interesting things because, like, you can tell that this was written now. Because, and I was just reading this Ken Liu article. It's in Reactor. I'll link it down below about how sci-fi doesn't predict the future. It's, you know, reactionary to our now and our anxieties now. And so this is my first sci-fi book that I've read that just as a world-building element has media made by generative AI. It's not saying that generative AI is good. It's more just assuming that one day in the future, there are going to be multiple types of streaming services, one that's cheaper, where you can just have generative AI story, and one that's more expensive, where it's all human. And that's not like a plot point, but it's a world point, and I like that because it makes it feel like a modern political sci-fi for me. It's like it is extrapolating from our now and our anxieties of our now, and I like that. So yeah, I'm enjoying my time. I'm excited to read more of this. And so those are the books I've been consuming. And then I did get back to a webcomic that I started in like 2020. And that's Check Please. I think I've almost reread and caught up to where I was last time, somewhere in season 3, year 3, whatever it's called. And this is just so delightful. I love Check Please. Biddy is a little precious child and must be protected at all costs. And I do remember when I first read this, I didn't know it had a romantic element. I was just reading it. Like, I think it was also because, like, Ryan was getting me into hockey, and so I was just reading this hockey webcomic, and it does a lot of hockey. Like, it does a lot of hockey and hockey team dynamics, I think, very well. It's very, like, if Ted Lasso and Heated Rivalry had a child, it would be this. Definitely not as graphic, but like it has the wholesome vibes of Ted Lasso and the team dynamics, and it is like about being closeted and queer in hockey spaces. And yeah, it's delightful. So I've been consuming that. And a thing that I did, and I said I would do it for my bingo board. And I don't even think I'm going to finish my bingo board, but my friend also bought me like the first saga of the manga, so I'm like, fine, I'm going to watch season 1 of the live action One Piece. And so I've started it. I've watched half of it. Because each episode is an hour long. Because Netflix doesn't like to have normal paced episodes. But these are still like good episodes. It's just like, I think an hour is too long for TV on average. I think it would be better if these were shorter releases. With like a more traditional like 25 or 45. But, you know, whatever. Regardless, I get it. I'm now like compromising with myself about like how I want to do this. Because what's nice for me is, so I'm going to finish the season and we have season 2 that comes out in March, and I'm really liking the cast. So for sure, that's how I'm going to enter One Piece. And I haven't figured out if I'm going to like reading the manga. And I'm lucky enough that my friend did give me like the first 4 volume packs. I don't know. He said it's like the whole East Blue saga thing. I don't know. I don't know enough. And I'm hoping this doesn't breach containment. Even though I've heard One Piece fans are great. But, like, I'm not, like, becoming a One Piece channel or something like that. Especially because, like, I mean, I've been enjoying reading the webcomic, but I'm really bad at looking at pictures. I'm really bad at it. And I know so much of the story is in the pictures. And, like, let me just say, like, the best part of One Piece for me so far is Luffy. And I don't know if I'm going to like drawn Luffy as much as this actor. This actor who's playing Luffy is amazing for me. Like, I mean, again, I haven't read the source material. I do know many fans of One Piece like the live action, though. And I have to assume Luffy being done right has to be part of it, because Luffy is so hard, I think, to do as a character, because he is so optimistic and obnoxious and cheerful and caring, and you play that too straight, it's saccharine. But you play that too goofy, it's not sincere. And like we are on the razor edge, and I love Luffy. I love him. And honestly, right now, I'm a big I need optimism type person. So having this character who's like an optimistic, I'm gonna be king of the pirates, but like pirating to him isn't like about being mean, it's about adventuring and not being held back by capitalism and governments. And in many ways, thematically, it's a lot like stuff happening in the Dispossessed, but it's more fun. So, like, you know, why can't you just be thematically rich and fun? Why do you have to be dry? You know? So I love Luffy, and it has some classic character tropes that I'm enjoying as well. And I think, in general, the live action did a really good job of remembering that this is meant to be campy and larger than life and colorful. It didn't try to be realistic. Like, I'm remembering trying to watch the Avatar Last Airbender live action, being bored to tears because it didn't understand whimsy. And this is so different. Yeah, so like, I'm really enjoying that so far, which is dangerous, and I'm concerned for myself. Don't you worry, I am concerned for me as well. I also got into like a really fun discussion about what the definition of epic fantasy is with a friend, because, I mean, one of the reasons I wanted to try One Piece is it's like one of the most popular long-running epic fantasies we have. And yes, it has pirates, and we don't associate pirates with epic fantasy, but like, it's its own secondary world. It's really long. I don't know how you can be more epic than that in terms of scope, length, goals. There is magic. There are monsters. Like, I don't know. It feels like epic fantasy to me. Now, is it prose? No, it's not a prose style, right? It's manga. But yeah, but I'm curious. I'm always curious. And if I forced myself to read Wheel of Time, which I didn't even like that much, I'm way more inclined to read this since I kind of really like the characters. So I'm concerned. I'm concerned for myself. Everyone should be concerned for me. That was really fun. And then a movie we watched, which is really funny because this weekend I'm very excited. And for some reason, the movie I watched last weekend and the musical I'm about to see this weekend, I think there's more overlap than I thought there would be. But we saw Marty Supreme, which, if you don't know, is an A24 film that's about ping pong, and it's very stressful. It's apparently the same people who did Uncut Gems. I have not seen it. I've just heard it's anxiety-inducing from a bunch of people in my life. This has Timothée Chalamet. I just went to go see it because my friend who has good taste in movies wanted to go see it. I'm like, sure, I have a credit to go see my Cinemark thing. The one subscription service I have is getting a credit to my local movie theater, and it's the best thing I've ever gotten. 20% off concessions. I have used it about as much as I would have used it if I didn't pay for it, and I've saved so much money. It's great. Honestly, I don't know. Yeah, like, it's great. But we went to go see Marty Supreme, and yeah, that was anxiety inducing. That was stressful. The only saving grace for me is that I didn't like the main character a lot, so if something bad did happen to him, I wasn't, like, upset, but it was also just, like, there would just be so many moments of, like, oh, we went there? Oh, okay. But what's funny about that is, so this is about a man in the United States trying to get into ping pong in the 1950s, and so table tennis, ping pong, not a big thing in the United States. I mean, nowadays it still really isn't. It's not as big here as it is in Japan. And I think potentially other countries in Asia, but I know Japan for sure is a big one, especially because in this movie, he's going to the World Championships and loses to this Japanese player. And then we spend the whole movie with him trying to make it to Tokyo for the next World Championship and making all the worst decisions to try and get there. And it reminds me, I'm about to see the musical Chess, which also has an American character who is a little unhinged when he loses to a foreign adversary in a World Championship. I'm so excited for this musical. We're going to get to see it with Aaron Tveit and Lea Michele, and I know it's cool to hate on Lea Michele, and I know she's not a good person, but she can sing, and I'm very excited. If only because also Chess is one of those musicals my sibling and I grew up with my father. Because when you're raised by a gay man who loves ABBA, Chess the musical, as esoteric as it is, ends up being blasted in the car for a few months, and you start to form this weird attachment to this musical that doesn't really have a plot that makes sense. We'll see if the book makes more sense this time around. I don't really care. I just want to hear the bops. I just want to have a good time. So we're seeing that this weekend. It's going to be great. I'm ignoring the weather as it stands. But yeah, that's like the art that I've consumed this week. And this coming week, I think my goals are finish the Dispossessed for sure, because then I'll have space to start the audiobook of The Mask of Mirrors, because Jess finally started it. And you know what? Maybe it's time. Maybe it's time. And I definitely want to keep going in Where the Axe is Buried. I'm so early on in this though, and this weekend's probably going to be kind of crazy busy, that making this be like my one physical read would be good. And in terms of short story space, I haven't read anything new this week, but I did purchase the new Faya magazine. So if I read anything in there that I think's worth checking out, I'll let you know. It's only $4, and they only release quarterly, so I figured I should try, because right now I know I'm definitely reading a lot of the more freely available things, and I should try and read some of the paywall things as well to kind of balance it out. But that's it for this one. What are you reading, doing, or watching? If you just want to leave an emoji to let me know you're here, leave a mountain for Mountain in the Sea. And otherwise, like if you liked it, subscribe. Well, that's not the Mountain in the Sea. I said leave a mountain because the back of the book says The Mountain in the Sea. I'm holding on to it. Leave a mountain for The Mountain in the Sea, also written by Ray Naylor. Maybe next week I'll ask for an axe. And otherwise, like if you liked it, subscribe if you want to, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.